Hey guys, it's Geo Phoenix, and today's drawing has a bit of an interesting story behind the initial idea all the way to the finished drawing. So without further ado, let's get started. Originally, this was just going to be another character I was going to draw for a filler speed drawing type of video. That was until I got a little further into the drawing. So a thought popped into my head. I wonder what story I should put him in. Maybe I should tie him in with some other one-time character I created? I was mostly leaning on tying him into the same world as my character Siri, who I drew a while back. Which is why I chose to use the same brush and outline color that I used for hers, as well as a more pastel-like color palette. But then, as I started coloring him, another thought ended up coming into my head. I think he would fit a lot better in my Adalinda story. And then, the ideas just took off from there. Now, a part of me did want to finish coloring the first concept that I designed, but I decided against it as I didn't want to lose the idea I had for his newer design. A lesson I learned from last time when I was drawing this guy. Never again will I postpone an idea like that. So as I turned the proverbial page in this digital sketchbook, I started drawing the new concept. So I immediately started sketching out his second concept, while also using his first concept as a guide. But later I use Yuta as well, because they hail from the same village. Now, keeping in line with the style of Adalinda, I had to go from his more stylized concept with the first one to a much more toned down version. That is what I deem my Tale of Adalinda style. I also tweaked a bit of his design, especially for his clothing, to match with the theme and style of the village him and Yuta are from, while also thinking about what his role would be. Well, judging by his clothing, he'd either be a cleric or priest type of role, or an official of some kind. Not a very small position, and definitely one that commands respect, compared to Yuta's position. Well, that's not saying her position was any laughing matter either. In fact, her position was feared. She was what's known as a messenger, and what they do is not just send verbal or written messages, but also more severe messages. To put it lightly, failure or disobedience amongst elites and superiors were not something to be overlooked. Now, messengers generally serve within a specific order, which she originally served under his order. That doesn't have a name yet, but it is what it is. But left after 2 years of service, which Torston, that's his name by the way, is still a little upset about that. Mostly because Yuta left abruptly, claiming that she was bored. Now, Torston is familiar with Yuta's personality, especially since they grew up together, and knows that there's a difference between her quitting out of boredom or her quitting out of some other significant reason. He could tell something was up with her abrupt departure, so when he confronted her about it, she refused to answer and just left. Nothing more was said. Now, the toughest part about designing Torston was the fact that I hadn't taken the time to flesh out the clothing of their village, at least not completely. Being that Yuta is the only person I drew from their village, I had to piece together a concept just based on her and some of the references that I gathered that I felt would fit with the style of the village. Now, the unfortunate thing is that I could barely find any references for male outfits, which is very sad. At least none that really fit with the theme of what I wanted to go for. So I kind of had to wing it when it came to his outfit, while using his original as a base to start with and using Yuta as a guide. I also used the context of who he is and where he's from to also help with narrowing down his outfit and his design to what you see now. And here's the final result. Now, I'm not sure if I'll finish coloring the first concept of Torston just yet, but regardless, I do plan on drawing him more often, and in the future, maybe even expand a little further on his design, maybe even do some changes, until I'm satisfied with the final result. Anyways, that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think about Torston so far? I'd like to give a special shout out to my Patreon supporters, Zeta787 and the Ocean Shock. Thank you guys so much for your support, and thank you all for subscribing and being part of the Phoenix fans. Have an amazing day, guys.